to the Helping Kids Be Kids podcast, an outreach of the Little Lighthouse. We are passionate about helping parents be confident caregivers to their kids and seeing joy restored for those who are in the throes of learning to see their child as a blessing. And we know that that is an ongoing journey. So I'm back here again with Katie Hough, Donny Walsh, and Laura Robinson. We are following up on our prior episode where we were talking about their personal journey and the wisdom that they've gleaned. We're going to shift gears now and talk about kind of the broader community. How can we help people around us who may or may not know us well see our children through the eyes that we do, with God's love, God's acceptance? You know, we know in the world there are all kinds of ways that we can have judgments in our hearts toward people that we're not even aware of until they're bumped into. And so as a parent who has this amazing child that God's given you, you may come across some unexpected things maybe in your own heart or in the hearts of the community. And I feel like our guest today will have some insight for us on how do you process that well? How do you grow from those experiences? And how do you help other people have a more Christ-like view of all people, especially these amazing kiddos who may happen to have different abilities? So my first question today is, if the broader community could see your child through your eyes, what would they see?
Wow, they would see joy unspeakable. They would see an intelligent little guy that even though he does not use his voice or his legs, he is taking it all in. Cognitively, he's so there.
Yes.
You know, and they would appreciate just the smile that he gives.
Yes.
And, you know, this is one of my favorite topics. You know, I love to advocate and to educate.
Yes.
So I might be off task or off question, but I love, as you said, when we're not asked to stay home, we're out almost every night. I mean, Tulsa has so many wonderful things to do. Joshua loves music. So we are seen at every scene, especially that's free music and family friendly. So we are constantly faced with, I think the thing that I want to say hurts my heart. I mean, I want to help the grown-ups that tell their children, shh, 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 to not. Anytime I see that, it's, oh, his legs don't work like yours, sweetheart. He's not hurting. He's fine. His legs just don't work like yours. Or his voice just doesn't cooperate with him. His mind knows, but his body just doesn't. So I want to educate every grown-up and every kid. I mean, it's like when we were tube feeding in public, we'd do the same thing. Oh, honey, you know, he just doesn't swallow like you do. So we just have to help him out. So I don't think there was ever, well, there might have been too many things that I felt so strongly about to advocate and to educate those around me. You know, it's just like, no, don't tell your children not to ask.
Yeah, please. Because kids are naturally curious, and this is maybe their first exposure to that kind of feeding technique. And so just invite them in and normalize it. Yes,
because if we don't educate, then it becomes in their mind something different or odd. But like Katie said, you know, if we embrace that, and if we help our community to embrace it and realize that, yeah, they're like it, more alike than different,
Absolutely.
Yes. Wow. Katie, what would you say?
This comes at a unique time because Jonah and William both are going to be entering kindergarten. And so
dun.
Brace yourself.
Oh my gosh. They wouldn't let us stay at Little Lighthouse. So.
I tried. If anybody tried, I think I tried hard.
Yes, you are the ultimate advocate.
So it's been on my mind a lot how I want people to see Jonah. And of course, my ultimate wish would be for people to see him like I see him. I know that's not probably feasible.
I do.
Thank you, Laura. I want people to see him for the person he is, that he's smart, he's kind. Sometimes he just needs a little bit extra help. Or a few more moments to think about something before he answers. We've had Bible class teachers at our church say to me after they've had him in class, like, he's so smart. Like, they're so surprised. And I'm always like, I told you, like, yeah, he's smart. He's a great kid. He's capable and able. And I know, we're all guilty of looking at the outside of a person and not necessarily knowing, getting to know the inside of a person. So I would just love it, especially when he goes to kindergarten in, 2 months, that they'll see him for the great kid he is, for that he's funny and smart and capable. So
yes.
That's my wish.
Yeah. Well, one thing you've done so well is he is those things. He knows he's those things.
He does.
And in one sense, he is his best advocate just because he gets to be himself.
Absolutely.
And that's got to be hard to relinquish control, though.
Oh, my gosh. Oh. At Little Lighthouse, we got to peer in the windows and see what they were doing. I don't get to do that when he goes to kindergarten.
Oh, no.
And my mom is constantly telling Jonah, I'm so proud of you. And so now he has started telling me and my husband that. Like, my husband was cleaning the grill the other day, and Jonah's like, Dad, I'm so proud of you. So, yeah, we just try to give him that confidence and know that he can do things. And he's got the determination. So.
Yes. That's so great. What about you, Donny?
So just looking at the question is, what do you want the world to know about supporting you and interacting with your child?
Yeah.
And I would say, like, the answer is in the question: support and interact with him.
That's
yes.
good.
Would be a big deal. And kind of what Laura was saying, I love how a child comes up to William and interacts with him because there's no preconceived walking on eggshells or sensitivity. He's like, Mom, why does he drive a power chair? Just right out there in the open, That's
right.
okay.
Fair question.
It's okay. It's no big deal. He drives a chair because he doesn't walk with his legs. His chair is bigger than yours. That's the dad talking. But just
good answer.
There's no sensitive, people perceive an issue as being sensitive if you yourself perceive it as sensitive. So the way we try to, as parents, the way we try to approach it is, it's no big deal. There's nothing going on here. Nobody's feelings are going to get hurt. Ask any question you got.
Oh, that's so good.
If we're that way, William will view it that way. And if William views it that way, the people around him will eventually, view it that way. I have a child with special needs that drives a power chair. But I'm not going to lie, if I see somebody in a power chair, you kind of, should I say something about the power chair? That's a cool power chair, but is it okay if I walk up to him and ask him where he got the power chair because it's really cool?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. Like, I shouldn't have that feeling. And so I would just challenge the world, cut that out. It's okay. These are people just like everybody is, and it's okay to talk about the differences.
Yes.
They're not good. They're not bad. They're not better or worse.
Right.
It's different, and that's okay.
And I always
such a good
welcome
message.
questions. I would love to answer questions any time of the day about Jonah. So, yeah, I agree with you. Ask questions. Don't be afraid.
I'm pretty sure I asked you some questions in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
Some
great.
clarity, because I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And we won't understand. We'll just get the preconceived ideas if we don't ask, if we don't inquire, if we don't go to the educated source.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the preconceived ideas are the bad. That's the poison. So get those out by being transparent and being open.
Yeah. So I'm hearing all of you say, just kind of relax. Don't be intimidated and trying to protect your own child from those questions. Just kind of set up the scenario so that it's a safe place and make room for the relationship develop by not having any kind of offense about the questions that may come, but just answer them honestly and then help people see your child as just a person, a wonderful person that is approachable and can handle honest questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And just a real quick tidbit to put in there for you, going to kindergartners. That was us last year. Joshua's just become like a school hero. Everybody thinks he's so cool. It's going to happen with your kid. I mean, William's going to be a school hero. Jonah is going to, it's just, it's so funny how kids will. They will just embrace them and love them. And
that's
amazing.
Part of the transformation I see at kids at the Lighthouse that just thrills me every time is that these kids know that they're important. They know they're loved. They know they're a good friend. They know they have something to say. And they know that the people around them are equally important. And they really do take that with them. So, I always think when I think of the Lighthouse, well, the parents are the heroes. The parents are the heroes, and you are. But I think what we get to invite you into is an environment that's idealistic, where kids really are seen as kids and they are really helped to be kids. And so it's not just you trying to create that environment as you go everywhere, but you can come into the safe place where that's your experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, what is one thing you experienced at the Little Lighthouse that you did not expect?
We experienced community right from the beginning. And this is another topic that everybody is different at. Because the Little Lighthouse, at the time we got on a 2.5-year waiting list, there was a group called Flip that got together once a month. And we ran into that. I mean, that was just like, yes, please. We were disappointed when it didn't happen because that was our first experience with a community that understood. So that was unexpected, but so needed.
Wow.
Even before we were at school.
Yeah. And really, you and Katie kind of helped to create that environment at the Little Lighthouse and take it to a whole nother level. Feel free to share some of that. Like, how did you see that need and how did you address it? Because, we're talking to people who don't have the Little Lighthouse.
Right.
But whether or not, we do want to empower them to advocate, and you can create the community that you desire to have.
Exactly. And Katie's been great at carrying on. One of the individuals that helped us get it started aptly described me as a pioneer. I love to get in, get something going.
Love that.
Katie has been much better at keeping it going.
But those gifts work really well together.
Yes, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful because Katie and I had opposite experiences when it came to the initial classes that were available while you were on the waiting list. And I'll let her share her story, but we were different.
Yes, and we call that our family learning intervention program.
Right.
So that's just once a month classes that parents can come to.
And we had a desire, we both had the similar desire to expand that and to reach more people, realizing that 10% of the waiting list showed up for those meetings. And I was aghast at it. I could not imagine why 90% would not enjoy that, run to that. So we were on a task force committee together, and from that came the family gathering, which is just a beautiful, casual time to sit down and share resources. Of course, we have a great researcher in Diana Lee who will get all the information you need.
She's a retired school social worker who full-time volunteer.
She's wonderful.
These parents could ask anything and she'll come back with research about it.
Absolutely. Every time.
Phenomenal.
So when we launched the program, we initially got it started. I mean, it was kind of hit and miss. I mean, people would want to know what was going on. We tried to plan it and make it as accommodating as possible, with it being half an hour before school was out so that, weren't making extra trips and such. But, we had big crowds, little crowds, big crowds, little crowds. I mean, but basically we just got together as that village and that community of moms and dads. And just, it's amazing when you cry together, when you laugh together, when you share those experiences, how much more empowered you are.
Yeah, because within that group, I'm sure you found that you had the questions and you had the answers, right?
Or if we didn't, we found them, or
Right.
Diana Lee found them,
You could find them. But I'm sure there are people a little bit further ahead who were able to help. And
I've been there.
You can
You're
both
survive.
safely be the recipient and the giver. Yeah.
We have, and we still host those every week, every Tuesday.
They're amazing.
And we've been doing them virtually.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
During this COVID season.
Way to go.
And we just found, like Laura said, only 10% were coming to those meetings. I was part of the 90% that wasn't coming to the meetings because
And you guys are friends?
I know. Scandalous. Which is why I think they wanted both of our opinions.
Yeah.
I never went to a flip meeting because I worked full time. I had a daughter at home.
Right.
I already had the Down Syndrome Association,
It's
so I didn't feel like
true.
I needed more resources. But we did know that there were parents who didn't have the Down Syndrome Association or didn't have an association or a group of friends who knew what they were going through. And that's how it started. We started this weekly group so people could share and laugh. And a lot of times there's crying, but, there's lots of hugging, pre-COVID. And it's just been a wonderful experience. And the other so mentoring has been a huge thing that has come out of Little Lighthouse for me. I've really enjoyed that, getting to let other mamas and dads know that they're going to be okay. And the friendships I've made there, I had no idea I would have all these great friends with all these amazing kiddos. We're from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Our kids all have different diagnoses, but we just have that common bond of knowing what each other has been through.
Right.
And then, of course, the staff at Little Lighthouse has been amazing. And I feel like those are lifelong friendships. We might not see each other every day once we get out of the halls at Little Lighthouse, but I think that we'll always have that communication. So that's been a huge blessing for us. What about you, Donny?
Yeah, I mean, so, one thing that we experienced at Little Lighthouse that we did not expect, my answer is going to be very short.
Okay.
But seeing, going into Little Lighthouse, I felt like William needed me. After 4 years at the Little Lighthouse, I've realized that he doesn't need me as much as I thought he needed me. And so it's a little bit of a tearjerker, but it's also like I'm so proud to see the relationships that he's built.
Wow.
And, he goes through the hallways and there's all these people that I don't know that are saying his name and that he knows them and he knows things about them. And so the community aspect of the Little Lighthouse and the social aspect has been a incredible thing that we've experienced at the Little Lighthouse.
Just wait, it'll get bigger too. You'll be out in public. It's like we were somewhere the other day and two different adult people said, Joshua, hi. I didn't know them from Adam. They knew Josh.
That's funny.
Right.
So it'll get even bigger.
Yeah. One part of our program that's unique is that we have a lot of college volunteers and interns coming through. So we literally have hundreds, thousands of people that have interacted with your children. And one thing I love about the impact of that is that those are going to become their doctors and their teachers. And not only theirs, but their worldview is changing to really see kids and help kids from a more relational standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, can you guys think of a question I didn't think to ask that you might want to just address something to the heart of a parent or something that's really helped you along your journey? You can think about it.
I lost my notes. They went away. Not that I had a lot of notes, but okay.
I think for me, if I was going to give a parent some advice, definitely don't go it at it alone. That's been one common theme that we've talked about in both today's session and the previous session. Get yourself a village around you. Doesn't matter who that is, but don't try to go at it alone. Get comfortable with the situation that you're in. It may be special, but it's not the first time that somebody's dealt with whatever you're dealing with. All right. And then the second thing, my wife gives me a hard time because I always have, 3 things. Right?
Those bullet points are helpful.
I'll come up with the third thing here in a minute. But the second thing I would say is be intentional. As it goes with life, anything that you put some time into is going to reap some rewards, right? So invest time into your child. think
that's so
think
good.
about it. Sit down one day and just make a list of things that we can do to help. You'll find over time that's going to flourish and help them, and you'll get a reward. You'll get a reward at the end.
You helped me think of one of my points.
See, and that was the third one.
The third one. Here's the third point: advocate, advocate, advocate. Nobody knows your child like you do. They may be experts in their field. You're an expert with your child. Do not ever let somebody say or do something that you know in your heart isn't right for your child. Mm-hmm. So that's the third point. Advocate, advocate, advocate.
That really is good.
And surround yourself with help. If you're not a kind of person that does that naturally, find your friends that are. Find the staff like Little Lighthouse, or just surround yourself with people if you need it to advocate for your children. You're the expert on them.
That's so good.
I think in the fourth point,
catches on.
We'll finish with Donny, I guess.
The fourth point, in case there's anyone listening who's not a parent, maybe a friend or a family. My mom received some great advice. She was seeing a psychologist at the time that I was in deep grief after we received our diagnosis. And she said, what can I do for my daughter? I want to help her. I don't know what to do. And he said, you show her how much her child is loved. And I think that is like the greatest thing that has ever been said. And I 6 years later, that still resonates with me. Like, how great to tell family and friends to help their, son or daughter or, niece or nephew who has a child with special needs. Go show them that their child is loved. So that's always stuck with me. And I really think that's good. Such a beautiful point.
So profound. Yeah. So good. Donny, do you have a final point for us?
No, I captured all of them. I've checked the spreadsheet.
Teamwork. I love it. Okay. Well, my final question for all my guests is, what does it mean for you to help kids be kids?
Oh, wow. I think we've already talked about it. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them where they're at. Encourage them to be all that they can be. Do not put them in a box.
Yes.
Do not say that they cannot attain great goals. So love them, encourage, and sometimes push them to be the very best they can be.
Good words.
Yeah, I think for us, just, treat them like a kid.
Yeah.
And try to give them all the experiences that kids have. And, for us, in our backyard, we've got lots of activities and things like that. I think I've had more fun building some of these things than the kids had. But we've got a tree house that's got a ramp up to it, so Will can do that and Bennett can do that.
Oh my goodness!
Now we've got chickens, so we're learning how to make eggs. So that's been an experience for the whole family. And we've just, we've gone out of our way to do and find cool things that kids love to do, and let our kids experience that.
So good. Because when you become a parent, you want to have fun with your kids, right?
Right.
So yeah, you want to, overcome the obstacles, but then keep the joy in it.
And a lot of that stuff's fun. Let me tell you.
I want to come over.
Well, and I want to come over. I want to get my husband.
You guys want to have a sleepover?
I want to get my husband to talk to you about, some of these fun things, because that's something we're lacking in some of his mobility and fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Networking. Love it. All right, Katie, we'll end with you.
Oh, okay. I just reiterate what they've both said. And kind of what you said, Christina, about at Little Lighthouse, they're all treated with love and respect, and they're treated like they can do all the things. And that's what I think we want to help our kids be kids. They might have a different ability, but we still want them to feel loved and, like Laura said, and have all the same chances and opportunities that any typically developing kid would have. So,
yes. Wow. your kids are so blessed to have you as parents.
We are so blessed
Yeah,
to have
absolutely.
our kid. That would be one thing that I tell people when they look at us and go, oh, you're such an angel. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm a human. And thank you. Yes, I'm glad I've been put in the position, but I would like for the people out there to understand that we are far more blessed to have Joshua in our life than we bless him.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming and sharing your wisdom. I know I've gleaned a lot from it, and I'm sure this is going to be a valuable resource for all of our listeners. Thank you for joining us today and listening in on our conversation. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you'd like some additional resources, go to www.littlelighthouse.org. We'll see you next time.